New Year started with smiles and promises, but one unexpected truth exposed a betrayal that changed my relationship forever. "Hey, Reddit. You told me it was just a work thing," I said, staring at the credit card statement in my hand. "So why does it say romantic couples package right here?" My wife went completely still. The champagne glass she'd been holding for our New Year's toast stayed frozen halfway to her lips. Outside, fireworks were starting to pop across the neighborhood, but inside our living room, the only sound was my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Everything I'd built over 28 years, our home, our family, the life we'd carefully constructed, was about to crack wide open because of one receipt I'd found while looking for our tax documents. I'm 53. My wife is 51. We've been married since we were basically kids ourselves, and our daughter Melissa just turned 26 last month. Until 48 hours ago, I thought we had the kind of marriage people envied. We weren't passionate teenagers anymore, sure, but we were solid, reliable, a team. That credit card statement told a different story. "Let me explain," she said, finally setting down the glass. "Please do," I replied, surprised at how calm my voice sounded. "Because this charge is from November 10th. The weekend you said you had that mandatory conference in Charleston." She closed her eyes. "I can explain everything. Was someone with you?" Silence. "Was someone with you?" "Yes." That single word hit like a physical blow. I actually stepped backward, bumping into the bookshelf behind me. A framed photo of our wedding day rattled, but didn't fall. "Who?" "It's not what you think." "Who?" "Trevor," she whispered. "From the gym." Trevor. The personal trainer she'd been working with since September. The one she'd mentioned maybe 3 times in passing. Young guy, late 30s, really knew his stuff about nutrition. I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out harsh and bitter, nothing like my normal laugh. "You're sleeping with your personal trainer. That's the cliché you went with? Not the pool boy or the mailman. You picked the actual gym trainer cliché." "Don't do that," she said, her voice hardening. "Don't minimize what I'm feeling just because it fits some stereotype in your head." "What you're feeling? What about what I'm feeling? I just found out my wife of almost 3 decades has been screwing around with someone 15 years younger." "I'm not screwing around," she shouted back. "I love him." Those 3 words created a silence so profound I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. The fireworks outside continued their celebration, completely indifferent to the fact that my world had just ended. "You love him," I repeated slowly. "You love him." She nodded, tears starting to stream down her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear I didn't. But he sees me. He actually sees me. Not just as your wife or Melissa's mother or the woman who handles the household accounts. He sees me. I see you," I said. But even as the words left my mouth, I wasn't sure they were true. When was the last time I'd really looked at her? Really listened when she talked about her day? We'd fallen into such a comfortable routine that I'd stopped paying attention to whether she was happy or just present. "No," she said softly. "You see who I was 20 years ago. You see the version of me you're comfortable with. You don't see who I am now." I dropped into the armchair, suddenly exhausted. "How long?" 3 months. 3 months. And the Charleston trip. We went together. He has family there. I met his parents. That hurt worse than anything else somehow. The premeditation of it. The planning. Lying to me about a work conference while she was meeting her boyfriend's parents like they were a real couple. "Are you going to leave me?" She didn't answer right away, which was answer enough. "I don't know," she finally said. "I don't know what I want. That's why I haven't said anything. I'm confused." "You're confused," I repeated. "Well, let me unconfuse something for you. You don't get to keep both of us while you figure out your feelings. That's not how this works." "I know that. Do you?" "Because from where I'm sitting, you've been having your cake and eating it too for 3 months now. You come home to me, sleep in our bed, eat meals I cook, and then you go see him for whatever it is he gives you that I apparently don't." She flinched. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like? Explain it to me," Because I genuinely don't understand how the woman I've loved since I was 25 can do this. She sank onto the couch, looking smaller somehow. Do you remember the last time you told me I looked beautiful? What? The last time you complimented me. The last time you looked at me like you wanted me, not just like I was convenient. Do you remember? I opened my mouth, then closed it. I couldn't remember. Not specifically. Trevor notices everything, she continued. He tells me when I wear something he likes. He asks about my day and actually listens to the answer. He plans dates. Actual dates where we go out and do things and talk about interesting topics, not just what needs to be fixed around the house or what Melissa is doing with her life. So this is my fault. You cheated because I didn't compliment you enough? No, that's not. She took a shaky breath. I'm not blaming you. I'm trying to help you understand. We've been on autopilot for years. When was the last time we had sex? I don't know. A couple months. 7, she said. 7 months. And it was on my birthday. And it lasted maybe 10 minutes. And then you rolled over and went to sleep. I felt my face flush. So you found someone who pays attention to you in bed. Congratulations. That still doesn't justify betraying your marriage vows. I know, she cried. Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I hate myself for this? I didn't want to fall in love with someone else. I didn't want any of this. But it happened, and now I have to figure out what to do, and you standing there judging me isn't helping. Judging you? Jesus Christ. I just found out you're in love with another man. What did you expect? Compassion? We stared at each other, both breathing hard. Outside, the fireworks were reaching their crescendo, the final countdown to midnight clearly happening at someone's party nearby. I could hear people shouting the numbers. 10, 9, 8. What does he know about you? I asked suddenly. Does he know you can't eat strawberries because they make your throat itch? Does he know you're terrified of birds because one flew into your face when you were 6? Does he know you cry at every wedding, even in movies, because you're a hopeless romantic at heart? She was sobbing now. Stop. Does he know that you wanted 3 kids, but we stopped after Melissa because of the complications? Does he know you still think about those other children sometimes? Wonder what they would have been like? Does he know you? Or does he just know the version of you that's shiny and new and doesn't have 28 years of history? That's not fair. None of this is fair. I stood up, the credit card statement crumpling in my fist. You want to know what I think? I think you're having a midlife crisis. I think you turned 50 and freaked out and decided you needed to feel young and desirable again. And this guy was convenient. I think in 6 months or a year, you're going to realize you threw away a marriage over someone who doesn't actually know you at all. Maybe you're right, she said, looking up at me with red-rimmed eyes. Or maybe I'm realizing I settled for comfort instead of passion. Maybe I'm realizing that I have another 30 or 40 years ahead of me, and I don't want to spend them feeling invisible. The countdown outside hit 0. Cheering erupted. Horns blared. A new year had officially begun. Happy New Year, I said bitterly and walked out of the room. I spent that night in our guest bedroom, staring at the ceiling and replaying our entire relationship in my head, looking for the moment it went wrong, trying to figure out if this was fixable or if it had been broken for longer than I realized. My phone buzzed around 2 in the morning. A text from Melissa. Happy New Year, Dad. Hope you and Mom had a great night. Love you both. I stared at that message for a long time. Our daughter had no idea her parents' marriage was imploding. Should I tell her? Wait. Let her mother break the news? Another text came through, this one from my brother. Bro, call me when you wake up. Need to talk to you about something. At least someone's night was going well enough that they wanted to chat about it. I silenced my phone and tried to sleep. The next morning, I found her at the kitchen table, coffee already made. She looked like she hadn't slept either. We need to talk about next steps, she said as I poured myself a cup. We can't just leave things like this. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me if there's any part of you that wants to fight for this marriage. I sat down across from her, really looking at her for the first time in how long? She'd lost weight, changed her hair, started wearing different clothes. all things I'd vaguely noticed, but never really processed. I don't know if I can get past this, I admitted. Every time I look at you, I'm going to see him. I'm going to wonder if you're texting him, if you're thinking about him, if you're comparing me to him, and I'm coming up short. So that's it. You're giving up. I'm not the one who gave up. You did that when you decided to sleep with someone else. She flinched, but didn't back down. I made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. But marriages survive infidelity all the time. If you love me, if you ever loved me, you'd at least consider trying to work through this. Consider trying, I repeated, like it's some kind of home improvement project. Just consider trying to forgive your wife for falling in love with another man. I'm not asking for forgiveness right now. I'm asking if you think there's anything worth saving here. Was there? 28 years of history. A daughter we both loved. A house full of memories. Shared friends. Shared finances. A shared life that would be incredibly complicated to untangle. But could I ever trust her again? I need time, I finally said. I need time to think about what I want. And you need to decide what you want. Because if you choose him, I want to know now. Don't string me along while you figure out your feelings. I ended it, she said suddenly. Last night, after you left the room, I texted him and told him we're done. I felt something shift in my chest. Hope? Relief? I wasn't sure. Why? Because regardless of what happens with us, you're right. It's not fair to keep both of you hanging on. So I made a choice. I chose to at least try to fix what we have before throwing it away completely. You chose me because he's the safer option, I said. Not because you love me more. I chose you because we have a life together. Because you're the father of my child. Because despite everything, there's still a part of me that remembers why I fell in love with you in the first place. It wasn't exactly a declaration of undying love, but it was something. What did he say? I asked, hating myself for wanting to know. He said he understood, that he knew it was coming, that he hoped I'd be happy. Very mature of him. Don't be an asshole. I'm sorry. Am I being an asshole about your affair? How insensitive of me. She slammed her coffee mug down hard enough that some liquid sloshed over the side. I get that you're angry. I get that you have every right to be angry. But if we're going to try to fix this, you can't weaponize it every time we disagree about something. I literally found out yesterday. You think I'm over it already? No. But I think if you're going to be cruel every time we talk, then there's no point in trying. She was right, which made me even angrier. I took a breath, trying to calm down. Okay, I said. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to have a normal conversation with you right now. Neither do I, she admitted. But we have to start somewhere. Over the next few days, we established an uneasy truce. She moved into the guest bedroom without me asking. We were polite to each other, distant, like roommates rather than spouses. She went to work, her actual job, at the accounting firm, and came straight home. She left her phone unlocked on the counter, showing me without words that she wasn't hiding anything. I found myself going through it anyway, hating myself for it, but unable to stop. I read the messages between her and Trevor. They were exactly what you'd expect, affectionate, flirty, explicit at times. But what struck me most was how different she sounded in those texts. Playful, fun, like a version of herself I hadn't seen in years. The final message, sent at 12:47 a.m. on New Year's Day, was simple. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. Please don't contact me again. His response, I understand. I hope you find what you're looking for. And that was it. 3 months of a relationship ended in 2 text messages. I also started going through our photo albums, physical and digital, looking at our history, our wedding photos, so young, so optimistic. Pictures of her pregnant with Melissa, glowing and beautiful. Family vacations, holidays, birthdays, graduations, 1,000 moments documenting our life together. In the recent photos, though, I could see the difference. The distance between us. The way we stood slightly apart. The smiles that didn't quite reach our eyes. When had we stopped being happy? On January 5th, my brother finally caught me on the phone. Hey man, he said. Sorry it took so long to connect. How was your new year? Complicated, I said, not ready to get into it. Well, mine was pretty great. I proposed to Vanessa. She said yes. I forced enthusiasm into my voice. That's amazing. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you guys. Thanks. We're thinking of fall wedding. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. You and your wife will be there, right? Your wife. The phrase hit differently now. Wouldn't miss it, I said, wondering if that would actually be true. Would we still be together by fall? Would we be divorced? Separated? Great. Hey, is everything okay? You sound off. Just tired. Work stuff. You know how it is. Yeah, I get it. Well, hey, I'll let you go. Love you, bro. Love you too. After I hung up, I sat in my car in the work parking lot for 20 minutes, trying to pull myself together. My younger brother was getting married, starting a life with someone he loved, and I was possibly ending mine. That night, I came home to find her cooking dinner. Actually cooking, not just reheating leftovers or ordering takeout. The kitchen smelled like garlic and herbs, and she'd opened a bottle of wine. I thought we could try to have a normal evening, she said when she saw my expression. Even if it's just pretend. We sat down to dinner, and the silence was suffocating. Finally, I spoke. My brother got engaged. That's wonderful. Vanessa seems lovely. They're getting married in the fall. We should send them something nice. Maybe that stand mixer Vanessa was looking at. We, I repeated. You're assuming we'll still be we by then. She set down her fork. I'm trying. I'm really trying here. But every time I make an effort, you shut me down. What do you want from me? I want to understand why, I said. I want to understand what I did that was so terrible that you had to go find someone else. You didn't do anything terrible. That's what makes this so hard. You're a good man. You've been a good husband, overall. But somewhere along the way, we stopped being partners and started being, I don't know, co-workers? We split responsibilities. We managed the household. We made sure Melissa had everything she needed. But we forgot about us. So we got comfortable. That's what happens in long marriages. But it doesn't have to mean dead, she said. It doesn't have to mean going through the motions. Some couples grow together. They evolve. They keep finding new ways to connect. We just stopped. I thought about that. When did you first think about leaving? I didn't. I thought about what it would be like to be desired again. To feel attractive. To have someone look at me like I was the most interesting person in the room. But I didn't think about leaving until I met Trevor. And then I realized how much I'd been missing. And I had to decide if missing something was enough reason to blow up my life. Is it? She looked at me, really looked at me. I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know if what I had with Trevor was real or just exciting because it was new and forbidden. I don't know if what we have can be fixed or if we're too far gone. I don't know anything anymore. At least she was being honest. I want to try, I said suddenly, surprising myself. I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I can ever fully trust you again. But I want to try. Because when I look at all those years we've had together, I can't believe that means nothing. I can't believe it's all just over. She started crying. I want to try too. I really do. Then we need help. Professional help. A therapist. Someone who can guide us through this because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Yes. Whatever we need to do. We found a marriage counselor named Dr. Patricia Chun who specialized in infidelity recovery. Her first available appointment was January 15th, which felt like an eternity away. In the meantime, we established some ground rules. Complete honesty. Open phones. She would tell me where she was going and when she'd be home. I would try not to bring up the affair in every argument. We would both make an effort to reconnect. Date nights, conversation, physical affection that didn't lead to sex. That last one was the hardest. Every time she touched me, I tensed up. Every time I looked at her, I saw him. My brain kept showing me images I'd never actually seen. Her with Trevor, laughing, touching, being intimate. It was torture, but I kept trying. Our first date night was awkward as hell. We went to an Italian restaurant we'd been to 100 times, and conversation was stilted. We talked about work, about Melissa, who'd called excited about a promotion at her marketing firm, about my brother's engagement, about everything except what we needed to talk about. Finally, over tiramisu, she reached across the table and took my hand. "Ask me anything," she said. "Whatever you need to know. I'll answer honestly. I don't want to know details." "Then what do you want?" "I want to know if you ever thought about me," I said. "When you were with him. Did I cross your mind at all?" She pulled her hand back, looking down. "Yes. Every time. I felt guilty constantly. It was like I was two different people. The one who was having this exciting affair and the one who knew she was destroying her marriage." "Did the guilt ever make you think about stopping?" "All the time. But then I'd convince myself it wasn't hurting anyone if you didn't know. Which I realize is selfish and stupid, but that's how I rationalized it." "Would you have told me if I hadn't found that statement?" She hesitated. "I don't know. Maybe eventually. Or maybe I would have just let it fade out and never said anything." "That's worse somehow," I said. "The idea that you might have just carried this secret forever." "I know." We paid the check and drove home in silence. That night, I lay in our bed. I'd moved back into the master bedroom and felt her lying on the other side, carefully not touching me. The distance between us felt like miles. Dr. Chin's office was in a converted Victorian house downtown. She was in her 60s, warm but no nonsense, with an ability to cut through bullshit that I appreciated immediately. Our first session was mostly her gathering information. How long we'd been married, when the affair started, what we hoped to accomplish. "I need to be clear about something," she said. "Recovery from infidelity is a long process. It typically takes 2 to 5 years for a relationship to fully heal from betrayal trauma, if it heals at all. That's not 2 to 5 years until you're back to normal. That's 2 to 5 years until you've built something new. Your old marriage is over. It died when the affair happened. What we're doing here is deciding if you want to build a new one." I felt something sink in my stomach. 5 years. 5 years of this pain. "However," she continued, "many couples report that their new marriage is actually stronger than the old one because they've had to confront issues they'd been avoiding for years. Infidelity is horrible, but sometimes it's the wake-up call a relationship needs." She gave us homework. We each had to write down what we wanted from our marriage. Not what we thought the other person wanted to hear, but what we genuinely needed to be happy. That night, I sat with a blank piece of paper for 2 hours. What did I want? I wanted to trust her again. I wanted to feel like she chose me because she wanted me, not because I was comfortable. I wanted to feel desired. I wanted us to be a team again, not just two people sharing space. I wanted to believe that 28 years meant something. When I compared my list with hers the next session, there was a lot of overlap. She wanted to feel seen. She wanted passion. She wanted to feel like a priority, not an afterthought. She wanted to rebuild trust too, but she also wanted me to eventually forgive her. "Forgiveness isn't a light switch," Dr. Chin said. "It's a process, and it doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to not let the betrayal define your relationship going forward." Slowly, painfully, we started to make progress. We instituted a weekly date night where phones were banned. We started going to bed at the same time instead of me staying up late watching TV. We talked, really talked, about things we'd avoided for years. She admitted she'd felt taken for granted. That somewhere around year 15, I'd stopped trying, stopped courting her, started treating her like a fixture instead of a person. I admitted I'd gotten complacent, that I'd assumed because we were married, I didn't have to keep winning her over, that I'd focused so much on being a good provider that I'd forgotten to be a good partner. We both cried a lot during those conversations. Physical intimacy came back gradually, first holding hands, then cuddling on the couch, then kissing. Each step felt like reclaiming something that had been taken from us. The first time we had sex after I found out, about 6 weeks into therapy, was awkward and emotional. I couldn't stop thinking about him, couldn't stop comparing myself. But she was patient and present, and afterwards she held me while I cried. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry for what I did to you. To us. In March, Melissa came to visit for the weekend. She immediately sensed something was off. Okay, what's going on with you two? She asked over breakfast. You're being weird. Overly polite. Like you're putting on a show. My wife and I looked at each other. We'd agreed to tell her eventually, but we hadn't decided when. Your mother and I have been going through a rough patch, I said carefully. We're working on it. We're seeing a therapist. A rough patch? What kind of rough patch? Melissa, her mother started. Did someone cheat? She asked bluntly. Is that what this is? The silence answered her question. Who? That's not important, I began. Mom. Melissa looked at her mother, eyes wide. Mom, did you cheat on Dad? Melissa, it's complicated. It's actually really simple. Did you or didn't you? Yes, she said quietly. Yes, I did. And I'm not proud of it, and your father and I are working through it. Melissa stood up abruptly. I need some air. She walked out the back door into the garden. I started to follow, but my wife caught my arm. Let me, she said. Through the window, I watched them talk. Saw Melissa gesturing angrily. Saw my wife crying. Saw them eventually embrace. When they came back inside, Melissa's face was puffy from crying. I'm sorry, Dad, she said, hugging me. I'm sorry she did that to you. We're working through it, I said again. I know, Mom explained, and I respect that you're trying, but I'm still angry at her. I'm allowed to be angry at her. You are, my wife said, and I understand. I'm angry at myself too. By May, things were genuinely better. Not perfect. We still had hard days where I couldn't look at her without feeling the betrayal. But we were communicating. We were trying. We were building something new. Dr. Chin had been right. Our old marriage was dead. But maybe that was okay. Maybe that marriage had run its course, and this new one, built on honesty and hard work and conscious choice, could be stronger. I still thought about Trevor sometimes. Wondered what he was like. If she ever thought about him. But I stopped asking because I realized it didn't matter. She'd chosen me. Every day, she was choosing me. And I was choosing her too. One night in June, 6 months after that terrible New Year's Eve, we were lying in bed after making love. Actual lovemaking, not just sex. She was tracing patterns on my chest, and I was playing with her hair. Do you think we're going to make it? She asked softly. Yeah, I said. I think we are. How can you be sure? Because we're doing the work. Because we're not giving up. Because despite everything, I still love you. She kissed me. I love you too. I never stopped loving you, even when I was being an idiot. You were quite an idiot, I agreed, and she laughed. It felt good to laugh together again. My brother's wedding in October was beautiful, small and intimate, just like he'd wanted. Standing next to my wife during the ceremony, watching him and Vanessa exchange vows, I felt her hand slip into mine. That could have been us, she whispered. Starting over, ending everything, and starting fresh with new people. But it's not, I whispered back. We chose different. Do you regret it? I thought about the months of therapy, the tears, the fights, the slow rebuilding of trust, the conscious choice to love each other every single day, even when it was hard. No, I said, I don't regret it. And I meant it. It's been almost a year now since that New Year's Eve. We're not the couple we were before. We never will be. But we're something different. Something that feels more real somehow, because it's based on choice rather than convenience. Do I still think about the affair? Yes. Probably less than she thinks, but more than I'd like. There are triggers, certain songs, certain places. The gym she used to go to, which she quit. But I've learned that healing isn't linear. Some days are great. Some days are hard. And that's okay. Last week, she surprised me with a weekend trip to a bed and breakfast in the mountains. No phones, no TV, just us. We hiked. We talked. We made love with the windows open, listening to the sound of rain. Thank you, I said on our last morning there. For what? For fighting for us. For not giving up when it would have been easier to walk away. Thank you for giving me a second chance, she replied. I know I didn't deserve it. Maybe not, I said. But love isn't always about deserving. Sometimes it's just about choosing. And I choose you. Every day, I choose you. She kissed me, and for the first time in a year, it felt completely right. No ghosts. No comparisons. Just us. Our marriage isn't perfect, but it's ours. And that's enough.